episode 202 of the CraftHouseMagic podcast. My name's Ellie and I'm coming to you from Norwich in Norfolk in the UK, and today is the 17th of March. So welcome everybody. I hope you've all had a lovely crafty week since the last time I've spoken to you, and I'm here to share all the things that I've been making in the last 7 days. So today I have some knitting, which is basically monogamous on a whip. I'll show you in a minute. But I am then going to go through my targets for 2022 for my knitting and crochet. Basically, most of it's knitting, but one crochet project that I want to chat to you about. And I thought that might give you some ideas for things to knit this year as well. I have some information on my shop update this week, and I have a big shop update next week as well, so I'll tell you about some of the things that are going to come in the shop updates. And then I have a little appearance of Jensen, my son, in a little outfit that I've handmade, and that'll just be at the end of the podcast. If you want to skip to any of the sections, you can drag your finger along the progress bar just below the video. I have a couple of Makalongs going on in the Ravelry group and on Instagram called the Retro Mal and also Craft 20 a Day. I've popped details in the description bar down below so you can see the information about those. And well, let's get on with the knitting, shall we? So I have been monogamously working on my Wishes cardigan by Locatelli because I'm very determined to get it finished for the East Anglia Fibre Festival, which is at the end of the month. So I thought, right, I really need to get it finished now. It's been on the needle since January and I have got the body finished. I just have just over a week to finish the arms. So we shall see whether I achieve that, but I thought I'd give it a go anyway. So, like I said, this is the Wishes cardigan by Locatelli, and it is a gorgeous waterfall cardigan. And it's supposed to be with full length sleeves, but I'm actually going to do 3/4 length sleeves, so that might help me achieve my goal of finishing it before the yarn show. It's on the 26th and 27th of March, and it's in Norwich, so it won't be far for me to go. But I thought, well, it'd be nice to have a new garment that's hand knitted to wear to a yarn festival. So here we are. You can see that I've now finished the length of the body and I've cast off. It is flipping up a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that's going to block out nice and flat, and it'll be nice and drapey as well. I have a progress keeper where I was last time I showed it to you, so I've literally done that much all week, but there is nearly 500 stitches around the bottom of this cardigan because it flutes out quite nicely. And I will show you what it looks like on. Obviously, without it being blocked, the ribbon is curling up slightly, and so is the bottom edge, but you can see the length of it and how it's supposed to sort of lay. Once I've blocked that, I think that it'll be much more drapey. I think that'll come out really nice, so you can get an idea of what it's going to look like when it's finished, with the arms finished. But you can see how wide that is, so it's nice and flowy, with it being really loads of stitches on that last, well, quite a few rows. So there was some increased lines which you may be able to see on the back of the garment, which spanned the whole width at various stages, so that it did get longer, so it did get wider the further I travelled down. If I actually pull it out, that's how long the rows were at the end, so very, very long. I think when I've blocked that, that'll look gorgeous. So you can see that I just need to pick the sleeves up again. They are on just cables, so all I need to do is reattach the needles, and then I'm going to knit the sleeves to about here, I think. So that shouldn't take me too long at all. I remember when I knitted my pavement sweater and I did 3/4 length sleeves, I think I used about 70 grams of yarn, and I have about 85 grams left of my 4 skeins, so hopefully that should be enough to complete the arms. And this is how much I've got left, so that's about 85 grams, I think. That should be plenty. I don't really wear long sleeve cardigans anyway. I prefer them to be short sleeve, so it's absolutely ideal. I did dye up a little bit less yarn than it said in the pattern, so I'm cutting it finer than if you actually followed the instructions that he's written about how much yarn you need. I'm cutting it finer because that's the way I like to go. So there we go. I'll give you one more twirl. hopefully I'll be able to get that knitted at least by next week and then blocked by the week after, so you should be able to tell the difference of what it looks like once it's been blocked. So this is my gold colourway, named after the Spandau Ballet song, and it's basically a yak and a merino and silk blend of yarn. It has got some grey tones in the yarn to start with, so when it's been dyed, it specifically only comes up this particular colour when I dye it on this base, so it is just one base. So there we go, nearly finished garment. Once I've finished the garment, I'll go through again the choices I made in terms of size and how I did that, because I think that'll help being able to see the finished garment and then the size choices I made. Right, so I'm going to talk about my Make 9 knitting and crochet targets for this year. Now, I did actually write this list right at the beginning of the year, but I thought I'll save it for a week when I haven't actually got an awful lot to show you. And because I've only got my monogamous knitting on my Wishes cardigan, I thought I'd go through my Make 9 list today. So, number 1 on the list, I've actually already knitted, so that's absolutely brilliant. So these are the Wishmaker mitts by Erica Heusser. And they are lovely. They're such a pretty pattern. So they've got dandelion clocks on them and some beautiful patterning at the bottom and the top of the work, and also some 1x1 ribbon on the cuff and the hand and the thumb as well. And they were knitted in a mixture of Jensen and Smith, which is the white, and some blacker yarns that I had left in my stash from another project. So I was able to complete those out of stash yarn, which is even better. So on the back there, we have like a diamond shape, and this pattern continues around the back as well, the same as the front. And I was really pleased with these. So I have shown you these a couple of times already, obviously because I was knitting them relatively recently, but I did use a 2.5mm needle just because I knit Colourwork really tightly, so I went up a needle size from the suggested needle, the 2.25, and I know that I can fit my hand with roughly about 60 stitches and 2.5mm needles when it comes to Colourwork, so that's why I chose that needle size. If you are a looser knitter, you may be fine with the 2.25mm needles that the pattern suggests, but really pleased with these. And quickly before I go on to the next thing, these are some Woodico mitten blockers that I've got with gorgeous little hearts on. So I have got two different types of these. I think I showed the other pair with the more traditional like triangular top that I have, but I have this pair as well. So I've got two different types of mitten blockers, so that it depends on the shape of the mitten to what blocker I use. And they're really handy as well for showing you mittens on the podcast, because it's a bit of a pain holding them up on your hands. I suppose I should show you what they look like on actually quickly. And there we are. They're quite a short mitten this time, and they're fingerless obviously. But a really fun make, and I would suggest something like this for somebody who's new to Colourwork, because you haven't got an awful lot of decreases and increases in the mitten. Obviously you have on the thumb gusset, but you haven't got any, you know, if you were knitting full mittens you'd have a lot more. So something like that is a nice thing to start with for Colourwork. I do have a little video actually for people who are beginning Colourwork, just a few tips that I picked up when I was on my Colourwork learning journey, and you might find those useful, so I shall pop a link to those in the top of the screen and also in the description bar down below. So that's my first thing I've actually made off my Make 9 list for this year, and I'm really pleased with that. On another note, actually, the Wishes cardigan that I'm still working on is my last item on last year's Make 9. So I didn't do too bad. I'm just 3 months behind. Oh dear. So number 2 of my Make 9 list for this year is the Magnolia Bloom jumper, and this is by Camilla, and I've had my eye on this jumper for ages. It is an Aran weight jumper. Now I am quite a warm-blooded person, so I tend to not go for really thick jumpers, but this jumper is stunning. And I did notice that they have got a version with, I think it's 4-ply weight, but the pattern around the yoke, obviously because it's on thinner yarn, it's smaller scale and it hasn't got that impact of the Aran weight detail of those little bobbles and things. So I think I might just have to make this Aran weight jumper because it's gorgeous. So that's the second thing I've got on my list. I think I fancy doing it in a grey colour. So the pattern suggests that you can either use an Aran weight yarn or a fingering weight yarn and a mohair held together. So I think I might do that actually, because I love the fluffy texture that that gives. But I'm thinking the grey that is in the photo of the actual design is just gorgeous. So I might actually just copy and go with that. Number 3 on my list is the Comfort Fade cardigan by Andrea Mowry, and I've had this in my mind, at the back of my mind, for years. And this is also quite a thick cardigan. This is a DK weight cardigan, but you can use lots of different colours, so it fades from one to the other. I thought that just looks really lovely, and it just looks so soft and cosy, and I think that's the sort of thing that I would like to sort of mooch around the house in and have something lovely and snuggly to wear. But I haven't decided what yarns I'm going to use yet. So that is number 3. Number 4 is the Wee Woolens ornament set by Susan B. Anderson. This is absolutely stunning. So this is a Christmas ornament. I think I'd knit it for Christmas theme as well and have that hanging on my tree. And I think I may be tempted to knit a few of these because they are absolutely gorgeous. Those little tiny mittens hanging from the sleeves and the little hat with it. Oh, gorgeous. And I already have some little coat hangers as well that I've knitted little jumpers to go on the Christmas tree before, so I could use some of those to hang them up as well. So that's number 4. Number 5 is the Shift by Andrea Mowry, and I just love this pattern, and also I thought it'd be brilliant to use some of my hand spun with. So I've had a couple of skeins of hand spun yarn in my stash that I've had in mind to make the Shift with for ages, but I thought I really need to make a third skein that really tones in with those colours. So I think I'm going to sometime this year spin that up, and then I can make the Shift cowl, and I think that that'll look absolutely gorgeous. And it's really nice to be able to use the yarn that I've spun myself and then knit it up and actually use it, because I have at least one of those cubes those cube boxes full of hand spun yarn that I haven't used yet, so I really should use it. So number 6 is the Ziggy Interrupted wrap by Sandra Paul, and I've had this on my mind for ages as well. It's so beautiful. Those little squares on point and the zigzag section, just beautiful. So I'm going to have to do that this year. I haven't picked out my colours yet again, but I think I'm going to keep my eye out at the yarn festival at the end of next week and pick out some yarns specifically Ziggy Interrupted, because it is beautiful. I love Sandra's pattern. She's got so many lovely ones, and I really need to do more crochet. I know that I've only got one in my sort of knitting and crochet list, but I do have plans to get on with one of the crochet blankets I've got as well, the Battenberg, which I haven't done any work on for ages, so I might even get that out and have a go at it for next week. Well, I say that, but I really need to get that cardigan finished. We shall see. Number 7 is the Sterenin Beret by Along Avec Anna. Hopefully I've said that correctly, but it was a gorgeous beret with like a star shape on the top, and I love a beret. I think out of all hat patterns, berets suit me the best, so I thought I shall make one of those. And small projects are always loads of fun, so I thought I was looking out for a hat pattern, and that really caught my eye. And again, you can use a fingering weight yarn and a mohair as well, held double. So I might use some of my alpaca lace weight yarn, which is really fluffy and lovely, with one of my yarns in my stash. Number 8 on my list is the Butterfly and Cocoon, another one by Susan B. Anderson, and I have had this on my to-do list for years, so I'm definitely going to make it this time. I'm thinking this is going to be a little present for Jensen. I'll have to make sure that it's sewn in, the ends are sewn in really well so that he can have a play with it, well, when he gets a little bit older anyway. I just thought it's really cute how you can put the little butterfly in the cocoon and they can be played with as well. And I think that'll be so much fun. And also I can use my little leftovers. And last but not least, I have put on my list the Stephen West Makalong because I really enjoy joining in with that, and that's on later in the year, so that is on my list to do because obviously that takes up quite a lot of time, and who knows, I'll be able to keep up with it this year, having a little one as well. So those are my Make 9 knitting and crochet targets for this year. I had a list last year for my sewing targets in terms of non-dressmaking things, and then also a dressmaking list as well. But I did have a few of my non-dressmaking sewing lists still left to do, so I'm going to carry on with that list. And I might make a list of dressmaking Make 9 targets to do as well, because I do like a bit of dressmaking. This week I have actually done some work on some loungewear, but I haven't quite finished yet, so I will save that till next week's podcast and show you a finished garment, actually a set, so I'll leave that for next week. But next we have my shop update section. So I have the yarn clubs for April will be in the shop this Friday at 7 PM GMT. So these will be in the shop available for pre-order from the 18th of March until the 13th of April. So you have plenty of time to grab one of those sets, but they won't be shipped until the 8th of April. But they will be out this Friday. I have already listed some more Eucalan 500ml bottles. So I only previously had the lavender in these 500ml sizes. So I sell little 5ml sachets, the 100ml bottles, but also the 500ml bottles. And I've done the lavender in the bigger bottles for some time now. So I've now listed the unscented, the grapefruit, the eucalyptus, the jasmine and the lavender in the shop as well. So all in 500ml bottles, and these are brilliant because they should last about 100 washes, so you don't need to keep purchasing the smaller bottles. So I've now stocked those in all the different scents that they do. I have actually got some more of these Passion chart keepers in this and the larger sizes in stock because last week they sold out really quickly. I didn't expect to sell them so quickly. I did go through last week how to use these, so I won't go through it again, but they've got a really cute little print of a knitter with some balls of yarn next to them and a little kitty as well in the picture, which I think is really cute. So those are being restocked in the shop. They're actually already restocked, and it's just the yarn clubs that will be listed on Friday at 7 PM. Next week I'm really excited. I have got 14 new opal colourways that are going to be listed in the shop in the next week's shop update. That's the 25th of March, so watch out for that. And I will also have some hand-dyed colourways going in the shop as well, some new ones, and some I'm re-releasing last year's yarn club, so watch out for that. I will show you these all in person on the podcast next week. So I've just got Jensen's little appearance with his outfit, so I'll leave it over to him. So today Jensen's wearing a matching set. He's got an heirloom hat for newborns. I can't remember the designer's name, but I will leave a link in the description bar down below. You've given your eyes a bit of a rub. You want to go out, don't you? You're excited. And the cardigan is a newborn vertebrae, and it's still fitting him, so it's really good. He does like to munch on my hand, look. But it's still fitting him now, and he's had it since he was born, been wearing it quite a bit. And we're going for a little walk now in the pushchair, so I thought I'd show you what he's wearing. Are you going to say hello to everybody, Jensen, or are you going to suck on Mummy's arm? Say hello. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I shall see you next week. Bye!